3:30. We are, we're hardworking as teachers. We are constantly, if we're not in the classroom, we're at home and we're marking and doing all the things and preparing for the next day. It is a relentless slog. And I just got to the point where I thought, do you know what, is this it? And it then took for my dad to be diagnosed with dementia to give me the real kick up the bum that made me think, right, I need to do something now, because it just isn't good enough to be then saying, like I always was before, I haven't got time. And I always my mum needed help. It was quite obvious that she needed help with my dad, and they'd always been there for me, and it was my turn. So I started looking for some sort of, I don't know, I don't think I knew what I was looking for, anything to jump out of the screen at me and, just take me away from this place. And I found an opportunity. I found network marketing without even knowing what network marketing even was. I didn't know what it was. I'd never heard of it. I had all these people who talk about, it's a pyramid scheme, whatever. No, I was just oblivious to it all. I was oblivious to everything. But it was other people's opinions were like in my ear. Anyway, I knew I needed to get out of my career. I knew I needed to do something. So I didn't listen to anybody, and I just did it anyway.
Can I just butt in there in case you miss out the fun story, if it's not going to spoil it too much in the book? So what happened when you originally found the person that was offering you the opportunity, and then what did you do after that?
Oh, this is not fair because you already know. I was really excited when I joined up, and then my partner and other people kind of got in my ear, oh, this is a scam. I only spent £80, for God's sake. It's not like I'd spent the earth. And he kind of got in my ear, and I decided he was right. And I was not very nice to the person who introduced me, told them it was a scam and all of this stuff, asked for my money back, and decided that was it. I went back to my job, just carried on, plodded along. And it was about 2 or 3 months later that I actually then decided that maybe I was wrong, admitted I was wrong, and went back into it.
Did you actually get your money back?
I did. I got my money back, a refund, and then never paid it again. But let me tell you, he's made his money from me since then.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. So go on, carry on.
So I just cracked on and got on with it. And it was a high ticket company, so I didn't need to be making loads of sales. And I didn't find it easy in the beginning at all. But once I'd found my way, I was off. There was no stopping me. Like people talk about their why, their reason why they get started, the reason why they do these things. And my why was so strong in that it wasn't just, yes, it was that I wanted to spend time with my dad and that he was ill and all of those things. And I wanted to get out of the job. But also a really huge driver was I needed to prove everybody wrong. All those people that told me it was a scam or whatever. It was just, I just needed to prove them wrong. And I obviously did. Because here I am. And then we're talking like 5 years ago now.
That's not bad, is it? 5 years? Because I sort of first popped into the scene much longer than that, but I've sort of been in and out. Can I just say somebody's got a Facebook user. I think if you there should be a link somewhere that you can click on so that I can say I can see your name. So if you're on Facebook and you haven't done that bit, if you find that link, I'm not sure where it is. Do you have any ideas, Samantha, where it pops up? You can put in your name and agree for StreamYard to give you a name, and then I can ask.
Yeah, usually wherever this is shared, there's usually a little paragraph at the top that says you need to give permission. You click on that. You literally click give permission, and then we'll be able to see your your name, but I can see whoever you are. The question was, what product, what kind of product was it? I don't tend to share, just out of fairness, really, exactly what the products were that I was selling, just because, you know, I'm not here to poach people. I'm not here to kind of promote what's good and what's bad and whatever. But what I can say is that it was high ticket, so I've never sold anything for less than £1,000. And I'll leave it at that. If there's any other questions, I can kind of scoot around it, but I don't want to be disrespectful, you know, in your community and doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Samantha. So hi, Colin and Sandra. So and Dawn, please ask any questions for Samantha while she's on live. Get your questions in now. Mm-hmm. So then, the exciting bit of the moment. What inspired you to write your book, The Network Marketing Revolution? What do you hope your readers will take away from it?
Do you know what? When I first started out writing the book, I thought I was going to write a nice little mindset book, all about mindset and how, you know, having the right mindset is going to take you out of your circumstances into the place you want to be and all this. And I found it, you know, I thought I'd easily be able to write a book like that. And I am quite a natural writer, and I knew I could quite easily write it. But we all learn, I don't know about you, but I teach people who work with me that we should never take the easy way. We take the hard way. You take the path of most resistance, not the path of least resistance, because that's going to take you to the place that you want to go. So easy wasn't the thing I needed to do. What actually became abundantly clear as I actually started writing this book was that the world didn't need me to tell them this again. And that actually, certainly in the world of network marketing, having a poor mindset is blamed and used as a cover-up for a lot of really crappy tactics. That actually, that's the reason it's not working, because you're teaching us all this load of crap. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And actually, your mindset would be 100% better if it was actually working.
Yeah.
And although, yes, personal development and having the right mindset and everything is really important, there's nothing like earning 10K in a month to improve your mindset. So go ahead and learn the skills that are going to allow you to do that. And then your mindset will soon catch up. So I knew that the world didn't need another mindset book. And I've read them all. So I don't have anything against them at all. But that said, I knew that lots of things were going on at the time. You know how you have people who, and you will have read this as part of the book, I write it as part of a kind of a funny story, but to get to the point, when people start a business, it's a big deal, isn't it? Putting yourself out there and risking looking silly and risking failing, and your friends and family are going to laugh at you or whatever if they see what you're doing. I personally didn't tell anybody else about it, like once I first started. But it's a risk. There are risks. And you put yourself out there and you lay yourself out on a plate there for everyone to see. And it takes courage. And then all it takes is the first person to go, it's a pyramid scheme. Oh, network marketing. Oh, you're going to be one of those people. Oh, it's a scam. Or, oh, you're in a cult. Or all of that stuff. And I was speaking to people on a daily basis, bearing in mind, by this point, I'm fully able to prove that this business can blow anybody's mind, can change anybody's circumstances, can change their lives. They can take them from place A to place B, whatever they want to do. I mean, I was at this point teaching people how to sell one product a month and not have to work anymore. Sell one product. It was enough to cover their salary for the entire month. And they wouldn't have to sell anything until the next month, where they'd just do it again. And that meant all that time was free for themselves. Yet there were people, I was speaking to people on a daily basis who were coming to me and saying things like, oh, I don't think it's for me. Or, I'm like, what? What do you mean it's not for you? What does that mean? Well, we all know what that means. It means they're skeptical. They are not into it. They don't want to do all the things that they think they have to do. They've heard rumors about what network marketing is or what we do and what they would have to do. They don't want to sell to their friends and family. All of these other things and other people's opinions have come like chipping away at them. And suddenly they go from this point of being really excited to start a business to, actually, I don't think this is for me, or ghosting me completely, or disappearing. And I just couldn't get through to people how valuable what I had was, that I was offering to them. I have here something that's going to change your life, but you have to believe in it as much as I do. And people couldn't get to it. And I was getting really frustrated. And I was getting frustrated because I knew I could change their lives. They'd tell me their story and where they were and where they wanted to be, but then just kind of get scared and back out. So I knew that the world didn't need my mindset book. They needed to hear what was possible with network marketing, and that actually we don't all have to use these tactics and things that people are taught, or be that spammy pammy, or be that person that gets into people's inboxes that people get irritated about, or have to do things that we don't want to do. You don't have, it doesn't have to be like that. And I realized suddenly that I knew loads of things that no one else knew and that needed to be put into a book. And that's, so I did it. So I wrote it, and it was petrifying. Don't get me wrong, because I say a lot of things in there that maybe not everybody is ready to hear. But I just had to bite the bullet and do it anyway. And can I just say that I, touch wood, being a #1 bestseller, I have not had a single negative comment yet. Not a single negative comment. And I was I braced myself. I was like, right, it's out there. Okay, I'm ready. Just suck it out. What are we going to do? And suddenly it's opened the doors for everyone, apparently, to say all of the things that they've always wanted to say, or what they've been thinking and didn't feel like they could say.
Yeah, it's such an old-fashioned way of teaching, isn't it? I mean, especially, it was like pre-internet when I first started, really, and there's still people teaching the same way, and of course it works if they've been doing it for tens of years, and tens of years ago it was working. They're obviously going to believe, and say, well, it works, look at me. But times have changed now, and if you're just starting out doing that, it's people are wise to it. People are fed up of getting all these messages and everything else.
You wouldn't expect for a surgeon or a doctor or anybody. I mean, my stepson has just had really serious spinal surgery to straighten his spine. And can you imagine if I just trusted them to use whatever techniques they used 30 years ago on him now? You just wouldn't, would you? They've got the technology and everything to do. It was amazing. What they've done for him is absolutely amazing, but it wasn't like that 30 years ago. So yeah, they might have said, yes, this operational will work 30 years ago, but actually what they can do now is incredible. So why are we any different? Why is our industry any different? Why would we not use the technology that we have available to us? It just doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Now I know Sandra has a question. I don't know if this is, I presume, Maureen. Now she's read your book and she loves it. I can let you read the question. Personal branding. So the basic premise is that we're without putting it all in a nutshell, your book, because there's absolutely far more to it than this, but it is that we're branding ourselves, and it's attraction marketing premise that we're wanting people to come to us. But I know Sandra was saying she's struggling for people to do that, what she thinks to do on the personal branding. And there was anything else on the side of that, I think.
Well, let me tell you
Yeah.
this, Sandra. I have never, ever, ever sold a product to somebody by advertising the product. The person has always come to me first because they're attracted to me first. And that's not because I'm like some interesting human, because we all start somewhere. And I'm a very different person now to the person I was 5 years ago. Like, you might not believe it, but looking at me now and talking to you now like I am, and writing a book and all these things and speaking on stages and all of that, I am a complete introvert. I like my own company. I don't really like being around people very much. I am more comfortable on the stage than I am off the stage because I'm on my own. I'm just talking and I don't have to fight for my place in a conversation. And when I first started, it took me probably about 18 months to do my first live. I would go on to calls and things and I'd keep my camera off. Or then I'd kind of start putting my camera on and then just sit like that. and that confidence kind of grew over time. But I always said those exact words. I'm not interesting enough. Nobody's going to want to follow me. My life is boring. I don't do anything. Why on earth would I share on my stories what I'm doing? And at the same time, somebody that I also was working alongside was traveling the world. And so his stories were full of, I'm doing this today and we're doing that. And he literally sold his house and all of his belongings, doing the same thing as what I did. Sold everything and he's been traveling now full time for 3 years.
Wow.
Him and his wife just sold everything and they just travel. That's what they do. But it's a bit different, when you've got a family and, I have a dog. I'm not going to give my dog up. Traveling or not. It's a bit different for me. And so people used to say this to him, like members of his team would say, oh, I'm too boring. And he'd say, look at Sam, she didn't go anywhere, but she's managing to do it. And it was true. But what I do, and this is the key, is I would go on and say, I know my life's boring, and I know I don't have anything to share particularly, but what I can tell you is that one day my life's not going to be like this, and I'm stuck in this job at the moment, and I'm spending every single minute of every hour that I've got soaking up as much information as I can to learn how to get myself out of this situation. So watch this space, because one day this is going to be different. And so I wasn't sharing my life as in, look at me, like everything's amazing. I was saying, look at me, everything's really boring. And you know what? People really resonated with me because they were like, yeah, my life's really boring too, but if you can do it, I can. So that's kind of how it worked. And I tell people that I work with now, I tell them all the time, people resonate with you more now than they do me, because I'm too far down the line. I'm too far removed from the situation because I've already left my job. I've already got that freedom and I'm already doing that thing. They find that too big of a jump. What people are looking for are somebody that's only one step ahead. And so you, Sandra, are already one step ahead of the people that you're talking to. Only one step. Do you know what? Somebody once told me, as a teacher, you don't need to know everything. All you need to do is read the textbook the night before. And you already know more than all the kids. It's like you only need to be one page ahead in the maths book to know what you're doing tomorrow. You don't need to know everything and be everything. All you have to do, it's like taking a book and reading 3 pages ahead. You already know more than the person who's on page 3 if you're on page 6. And that's it. All you need to be is that one step ahead. And I think the key thing is being authentic and being real about it and not being afraid to say, I'm not pretending to be anything I'm not. But what I'm telling you is that I'm trying really hard, and I've found this way, and it seems to be working. I remember my mentor once saying to me, right, well, I found this thing, right? I've left my job. It's doing really well. I don't know how the hell I'm getting away with it, but it's working. And I was like, that's enough for me. Yeah, I can wing it too, until, like, everybody wings it, don't they? Even the most successful people are winging it to some degree. So does that answer the question, or do you need more? Tell me.
I've got a Facebook user saying love that, thank you, but I'm not sure if that is Sandra. Is that you, Sandra? Has Samantha answered your question? I mean, so if it's something, if somebody's, whatever somebody's why is, I guess, so like if it was to be able to leave their job, and they're only just starting on this, so you know, if it was that Sandra hated her job or whatever, then the fact that, well, I guess you couldn't actually say live to everybody in case there's some bosses there or something that she hates her job, but you know, that this is what my aim is, or you know, it's other people that are in her situation that can follow her journey and get inspiration from what she's doing. Is that what you're saying there, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Just be honest. And obviously, there's a degree of, I was a teacher and there were huge restrictions on things that I could say or not say. But there's nothing wrong with going out there and saying, I'm striving for a better life, and I'm learning, and I'm doing something about it in my spare time. You don't have to say, I'm trying to leave. What you should say is, I'm striving for a better life. And do you know what? There's not many people who are brave enough to do that. So you're doing that. You are already aspirational to somebody.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's good. I don't know why it's got Sandra's name at the top and now it's turned to Facebook user. It's very odd. Anyway, okay. Why is to retire early? If anybody else has got any questions, quick get on soon, because I haven't got Samantha for too long. What else did I want to ask you? So yeah, well, we've really covered a lot of the questions. I was going to ask you, many people have got negative perceptions. That's good. I like not having to ask the question. But people have negative perceptions of network marketing, and what sets your approach apart from more traditional methods. So we've kind of covered that, haven't we? Or is there anything you want to expand on that?
Kind of, yeah. I'm all about if life is about enjoyment, that means, like, people say to me, okay, what are your goals? And it took me a long time, because first my goal was like to leave my job. It was to be able to look after my dad. And then my dad sadly passed away. I'd left my job and I was left like, well, now what is my why? What is my reason for doing this? What are my goals? What do I want to? And suddenly it became like a monetary goal. It doesn't really mean anything, does it? Like, money doesn't actually mean anything. It means you have nicer things. But I realized when I kind of dug deeper that my actual goal, which then hasn't changed in all that time, is I want to be able to do what I want, when I want, and change my mind at any moment if I don't want to do that. I don't want to be responsible to anybody. I want to be in control of my own time and my own life. And if I at any point want to change my mind about that, I can, because I'm in control of it. So that has become my goal. And my why, I suppose, really, because that involves, there's even, for me personally, I feel like I'm at that place, but my partner is still working in a job and he enjoys working in a job. But I'm like, well, I'm still restricted by your holidays. So I'm now working towards, wouldn't it be great if we could both not have a job? I don't know how that would work with him being at home all the time, to be fair. I don't know. Really. But, you know, wouldn't it be nice to just be like, oh, what should we do today? Oh, shall we, you know, let's just jet off wherever we want to go, or do whatever we want to. Like, there are, you know, living a life of no restrictions at all.
Yeah.
So everything for me is, if life is about being able to do what you want when you want, then having a business means that you can't be tied to it, because I don't want to be one of those people who, and I know plenty of them, go away and live in Bali, let's say, for example, and they're looking like they're living this amazing life, but I know for a fact they are glued to their phone on that beach, like having to message people and constantly hustle, because they've got to meet this constant, never-ending grind of targets and things like that. And it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be like that at all. I've set everything up within my business so that it's automated. I've filmed videos, I've filmed a video series. I've literally, what happens in my business is the products that I promote, for example, and that I teach others to promote are, as I said before, more expensive items, which means that the commissions that come back mean that we can take some for ourselves and use some for advertising or something like that. I can use my social media if I want to step up and I want to do that without spending any money. I can do that using the attraction marketing and all of that. But actually, I'm at a stage where I can place an advert out. I could send that advert out to put it actually under the noses of my exact avatar, my exact ideal client, for them to read once they're scrolling through their feed, wherever they are. They click on it, it takes them to, they sign up for their name and email address into my little web page. I then send them regular emails about what it is that I do, and I drip feed information into them. And then they're sent to a masterclass, I suppose you could call it, a web class where they just learn a bit about what it is that I do. So they go to this masterclass, they watch the masterclass, and they decide whether they want to sign up and work with me. And it's a really low cost. I keep it low because I want the barrier to entry to be low, so that as many people get involved in that and see that information as possible. So that's how it works. They go on to watch this thing, and then they choose whether to be in my world or not. And it's as simple as that. And I've had no involvement in that process whatsoever. I haven't messaged anybody. Occasionally I get the odd question from somebody before they decide to sign up. Most of the time, my phone pings, I'm like, oh, another person. Yeah, great. Yeah. Looking forward to chatting with you. Yeah, off I go. Do whatever.
Perfect.
And that is the ultimate freedom, isn't it? That's what we want. But it takes some time to get to that place, and that's why I do that for most people. I create all the automation and everything for people, because I know that in the beginning that's really hard and it's a huge barrier. So that's one of the things that I offer. I do it for you, and then you don't have to worry about it. But you can. I do it. You go off and do your own thing. You know, I'm saying that like, oh, it's all really easy. Obviously, any business has its ups and downs and things. There's a learning curve to be had somewhere, and you don't just literally sit back and do nothing, because you're learning in the meantime all this attraction marketing and doing things on the side. But you can, the beauty of it is you can do as much or as little as you want. I have days where sometimes I work all day and the next day I do nothing. So
when you're saying you work all day, and what sort of thing does that entail then for you now?
It's usually recording videos for more automation so that I don't have to do it several times over. Or it's having calls with people who want to come and work with me and learn this stuff and have me do it for them. Because obviously people, as I've said a lot, people buy into people. They don't buy things. So there is an element of, I am still a person. They still need to see that I'm genuine and that, you know, I can help them. But once they get to that stage, that's when I step in as that kind of the personal contact. But what that means is that I'm not dealing with anybody. I'm not dealing with any time wasters. I know that the people that I speak to are genuinely interested and want some help. I'm not having to sit on my phone being ghosted by everybody, or all of that stuff that nobody likes.
So somebody, I don't know if it's Sandra again, or somebody else. Where did Sam learn all the techie stuff about automation? Well, you've just said you can do it for people, but where did you learn?
I learned it myself, actually. I taught myself. I had, well, I followed a few videos. My own mentor who introduced me to this business that I do now, he was running his own funnel, his own marketing funnel. And it got to the point where I was starting to do really well, but he was doing a lot of the stuff for me, and he was doing calls and things like that. And I was thinking, I'd get a lot more people if I spoke to them, because I'm a different kind of person and they're going to resonate with me more than they resonate with him, because he's a male and he's very masculine and I'm very different, and I'm quite straight talking, authentic, and I thought, I think I could do really well if I did this myself. So like, can you show me how to do this? Like, yeah, off you go. One less thing for me to do. So he just kind of threw me a few videos, showed me a few things. He was there if I needed some help. And then the rest, I just kind of learned trial and error as it went along.
Okay, cool.
It was a learning curve, though. Don't get me wrong.
And then we've got Marty asking, Martineri, is it just ads you use, or do you post on stories and reels?
Both. I do both. Yeah, but you can have reels and stories that you can post as ads, so that they become sponsored, and all that means is that I might be paying between £1 and £5 a day for that to be put into a particular audience, rather than relying on my hashtags and stuff. I can say, Facebook, can I just pay you to put it in front of these people? And then it goes right there. Rather, it leaves less to chance. I would say using stories and reels is brilliant, and it works, and it attracts your audience. The ads are like pouring the fuel on the fire that just makes everything work faster.
Yeah, sounds good.
And I think ads are one of those things people are scared of. That people are scared of ads, and they think the mindset about ads is they're for people with money and organizations and things. I ran ads from day one.
Cool.
And
really, because they don't have to be that expensive, do they?
No, you can spend from £1 a day. I don't recommend spending any less than £5 if it's an actual meaty something that you want to put out there. But if you're sharing a reel or something like that, you spend £1 and you'll get it out to the right people.
Yeah, because it's not just it's, I think it's because of the targeting, isn't it? Because you can be so specific, if I could say it, that you're getting it to the exact right person. So once you've done the work on sorting out your avatar, then you can actually ask it to send it to your avatar.
Literally, if I want to send it to one-legged hamster lovers, I'm not sure that's an option, but if that's what I want to do,
three-legged
yeah. You get my point. You can be very specific.
Yeah, perfect.
You can even, I was just going to say, sorry, before you go on, you can even target people who are already interested in the thing that you sell.
Right. Excellent. So time is getting on. Is there any more questions before I just give a last couple of questions to Sam? Anybody else out there that has any questions? If you're not watching this live, then do put a question in anyway, and hopefully we'll be able to have Sam answer them for you at a later date. So just two things then. Penultimate question: What are your long-term goals for your business and your personal brand? I mean, you've kind of hinted that you'd like to get your hubby out of his job. That's one of my goals as well, actually, because he's got a stressful job. So I'm going to. That's one of my aims. So I can totally relate to that one. Because you have to have someone to do the fun things that you want to do with, don't you? You can't just go and
Exactly.
The world on your own, you know. Just
Yeah. And I
great
think, so yeah, definitely that. And that ties into that thing of being able to do what I want when I want and change my mind if I want to. Because at the moment, although I can technically do what I want when I want, well, what I want is to do it with him, and I can't. So it's his
Yeah,
fault.
exactly.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm responsible for making that happen, so that we can do things together. So yeah, that's one of the big goals. But ultimately, it's being able to actually, rightly or wrongly, they're not business goals. They're quite, of course, we want to help as many people as possible, but we do it for ourselves. And we do it because we want to be happy. And the ultimate happiness is being able to do what we want when we want. So that ultimately is me wanting to be able to step back from my business and it be automated to a degree where it will kind of run on autopilot with me stepping in here and there, but me having people in place to do the bits that need the actual and individual to be there, and some of those bits. But I don't think I'll ever want to be, out of it altogether. But I would like to be able to step right back, which
Just
is
be the face when needed.
yeah, exactly. And it just be running all smoothly like clockwork. And I feel like I'm already kind of on that trajectory.
Well, you
Yeah,
both can't speak, say
yeah.
something.
I'm trying to say these big words.
You need to get more wine, Samantha. Do you prefer Sam or Samantha, by the way?
Pardon?
You prefer, it was a bit late to ask you now, but just for future knowledge, do you prefer Sam or Samantha? Or
Everybody calls me Sam, but I
right.
used Samantha when I first set out because I thought it sounded all official and not like, I didn't think Sam sounded very official. So everyone now calls me Samantha, and I'm very used to it. Obviously, it's my name, but most people just call me Sam. If in when in person someone calls me Samantha, I'm like, don't call me that.
Oh, I'm like that with Janet.
Yes.
You have to speak to the banks and stuff, and of course I've got my full name on the bank card, and they're like, oh now Janet, how can we help you? Oh no. Okay, so is there anything else you want to what if there was one big tip, one tip for somebody who is thinking about starting network marketing or in network marketing and is struggling? What would be your number one tip, apart from buy a book, which is one of my big tips for everybody, which we'll promote at the end?
So many. What would be my one big tip? Because it kind of depends. So they've just started. Is that what you said? Just started.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's important to believe that you know best. Even though you may know nothing, if something doesn't feel right, you shouldn't do it. If you're doing something just because somebody's telling you to do something and it doesn't feel right to you, go and find another way. And I think so many people can get stuck in these network marketing communities where everybody does the same thing because everybody's in this bubble. And all it takes is for one person, like I came along and went, what's everybody doing? This is stupid. I'm just going to go and do this over here because I don't want to do all of that other stuff. And it only takes one person to do something differently and it work for people to then follow you. So
Yeah.
Sometimes what they're teaching you is right and sometimes it's good. But what I'm saying is if it doesn't feel right and you don't like doing it, don't do it. You're never going to have a successful business doing something you don't like doing. You've got to find a way that is enjoyable, because when you enjoy doing it, you'll do more. You don't have to feel motivated to do anything. You will be intrinsically motivated because you enjoy doing it and it's working, so you'll do it even more. So find a way to enjoy your business, I think, as well.
Yeah,
and
there's nothing more rewarding than it working, is there? And then
and if that means going outside of thinking outside the box or going outside of the community that you're part of, it doesn't mean you can't do that thing that they're doing, or sell that thing that they're selling if it resonates with you. But don't just hang on to it for the sake of hanging on to it. If there's a different way and there's a better way, go do it. Nobody's stopping you. You don't ever have to do what your upline tells you to do. Right? I don't.
Oh, Sophie's enjoying it. Thanks, Sophie. Any questions? Any questions for Sam? It always reminds me, you'll be way too young to remember the Clifford. It was in Summer Holiday. I don't know how famous the song is, but the Goodbye Sam, Hello Samantha. Do you know that one?
Oh God, I have heard of that. Yeah.
I'm going to start singing it then, Mo. I'll put you through. So right now I've found out this very clever thing. So Sam, how can people get in touch with you? I've got this here. So look, there we go.
Ooh, snazzy.
So Sam's book, Revolution. Just we haven't really even talked about it properly, have we? It just launched it and it's gone crazy, hasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And like I said before, I think suddenly it's gone crazy, and the positivity that's come out of it is, it's just almost like I've opened the doors or the floodgates even for people to talk about something that they've never felt like they've been able to talk about before. And this is the book.
Yes, please tell us about
it. The first half is all about the problems, the things people sweep under the carpet or don't talk about. I just outright say what I don't like. pretty much through the first half of the book. And then the second half is the solution, how I think you can do that better, that you don't have to do all of those things. You could do it a different way. And the second half of the book is called The Solution. So it's the problem and then the solution. And it also, I had loads of things that I could have shared with you, but I said to you, I could talk all day. That there are lots of activities in the book. It comes with what's called the workbook. StreamYard is weird. It's the opposite way. It's the Network Marketing Revolution workbook. As you go through the book, it says things to you like, right, stop now and do this thing. And you know what it's like. If you're anything like me, you read a book and it tells you to stop and do an exercise. Do you ever stop and do the exercise? I never did. But on the books that I did do the actual exercise were the ones that had a big impact and actually made a change. And so I created this workbook. And there's bits in the book where I'll say, did you really go and do that thing? Right now, I'm just checking. Did you actually go back to the workbook and do this thing? You can either buy the workbook with the book, or if you join, am I allowed to say join my group?
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to assume, but if you join the Network Marketing Revolution Facebook group, where I am going to be starting to offer lots of training and support and things in there. I don't do much in there at the moment because I'm just kind of waiting for the book to warm up, which it has now. You can get the workbook. You can download the workbook for free if you go in the group. So it's just my handy little trick.
I did that because I wanted it so quick. I couldn't wait till the next day. I wanted to get started with it, so I did that bit. Yeah, and I've all done. I feel very proud.
You will see actually that when you go to the web address here, the networkmarketingrevolution.com, you'll even see part of my process of kind of what I do, in that you'll go and you put your name and email address in, and I'll take your information, and then I send you the book and send you onto Amazon. But then I'm capturing your information so that then I can send you further information about what I do and send you onto my group. And that's how it works, isn't it? Like, yeah. I'm completely transparent about it, that you don't need to be, all you need is to attract people in some way. And what I've done is I've attracted you in some way. buy a book. That's my lead magnet that I talk about in the book. My lead magnet is my book. That captured you, that captured your attention. It's going to take you for me to gather your email address so that then you'll enter my funnel, which I'll talk about in the book. You enter my funnel, my sales funnel. I drip feed information to you about what it is that I do. If you don't want to hear it, you just click unsubscribe. That's also fine, because I obviously only want people who are interested in what I do and people that I can actually help. And then you're just taken on the journey that way. And that is exactly what I teach you to do in the book. And it's not necessarily you don't have to go write a book or anything like that. You just find a way to attract attention. And when you've got their attention, you funnel them in, give them all the stuff and dazzle them with your personality and wait for them to buy something. That's how it works. It's really quite simple.
So much nicer than sort of sending thousands of messages to people you've never met and have no idea if they're interested in you and what you have to offer.
And they're generally not, are they? Because you haven't offered them something that you know that they want.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also, it feels false as well, doesn't it? So yeah. So anything else you want to say before we go? There's we've got some lovely comments. Thank you, everyone. Any last thing you want to impart with us, or anybody else got any questions quickly? No?
Oh, what's Sophie written there?
She wants your book.
Okay. I've been in networking a long time, but I don't want to spam my avatar as they are such genuine connections. That's what you want. You don't need to spam genuine connections. Why would you need to spam a genuine connection? If they're genuine connections, you just message them and have a genuine conversation with your genuine connection. If they're genuine connections, you should be able to message them at any time and ask them how they are and talk about their dog and whatever. It doesn't mean you have to then suddenly sell them something. They know what you do. If you've been right, they'll know what you do and how you can help them. And if they're a genuine connection that wants what you want, they'll ask you. But yeah, read the book.
I think Sandra sort of mentioned before the meeting. So we've done about the personal branding side of it. But if you're not, I think where there's been some bit of confusion. I mean, she hasn't finished the whole book yet. But if you're not mentioning, and I kept coming up against this with the video training, they say don't talk about the product, don't talk about the product. So if you never talk about products, how would people get to know that you actually have products? Is that through once they've joined the funnel, or when does that come into the conversation?
Because what your job as a marketer is knowing what their problem is. It's not your job to tell them right away what their problem is and what the solution is. It's for you to pinpoint that you know that they have a problem and how they feel, and hint at the fact that you can help, that you understand, because you've been there too. Because the people that you're going to help are going to be people who are probably have been in your shoes, or maybe like a step behind, as I said. So it's about showing that you understand how they're feeling, to the point where they're like, oh my God, this person is reading my mind. That is exactly how I'm feeling. Okay. And then you'll offer them something that will help them with a solution to that problem, which isn't the thing that you sell. You can offer them what I call in the book as a lead magnet. I could offer them some information on whatever it is, how I can solve this problem, 3 ways to make you feel better about this thing, or whatever. It could be anything that helps that person. And then when you're busy helping that person for free, you're emailing them. You're not going to then suddenly email them, I buy this thing now. You're going to talk more, like you do in your posts about, oh, this is what happened to me, this was terrible, but this is how I dealt with it, blah, blah, blah. All of that stuff with a bit of a PS. Maybe click this link, you might find some more information on how I can further help you with this problem. You might have a little video on there about then what you offer that you sell. I even explain in the book about you can give something away for free and then have what's called an order bump or a tripwire, which is not a pleasant word. I don't like the word tripwire because it implies that we're tripping them into something, but we're not. We're giving them something for free and then saying, if you like this thing, you might also like this thing and it's only £5 or whatever. Do you want to buy this thing for £5? And this piece of digital information or a video or PDF or booklet or whatever. And then I'm still not talking about my product here. They buy this thing, they pay you £5 for it. And then in your emails, you can introduce them, drip feed them a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more to the point where they're like, right, what else have you got that I can buy?
Oh, yeah. They want to buy whatever you've got. I'm just typing in because Sophie's saying about the link, but it's in the ticker, Sophie. But I'll type it into the chat. I don't know if I got it right. I think that's right. So hopefully you can see that as well. And then Sophie's asking how many emails to send out.
So you can send out in your email sequence, you can, until they get used to seeing you in their inbox. So you can send between like 5 and 10 emails straight away. Well, one a day. And then you can go down to one a week, like a newsletter type thing. It's just a reminder, because don't forget, there is not a person out there that opens every single email. Not all emails are opened. They might only see number 1, number 5, and number 7. But if you're drip feeding, and that's the key here, it's drip feeding information. It's treating your business like a business owner instead of being somebody who wants to earn money online. If you just want to earn money online, it means you're looking for a quick fix and a quick sale. But to be a business owner, you've got to look at the big picture and drip feed information in every day through your emails, then every week. I have people who come back 2 and 3 years later and say, I've been watching you all of this time and I'm ready to start. I'm like, what? Didn't even know you were there. But then, there's people, I've just been drip feeding information into those people for so long. I've been building up that they've been getting to know me, to like me, to trust me. And until they've gone through that process, they're not going to buy.
Yeah.
So try to look at the bigger picture and the long term. This is not about making money fast. And although it'd be great, this is one of the things that I disagree with. I'm going on now, sorry. This is one of the things that I disagree with when you work with companies who give you targets. Because that's where the desperation comes in, and that's where you start to push. If you're not given a target and you're trusted to do your job, then you can trust the process, you can drip feed it in, and it will literally compound over time like a snowball. You start with the little ball at the beginning, and then you just push it, and you push it a little bit more, and you push it every day, you do a little bit more, and suddenly before you know it, you've got this giant avalanche. And that's one way to look at it. It's about just drip feeding things in. That's the key, and the bigger picture.
Brilliant. And that people get to know you, like think they know you, like somebody on a soap opera or something in the end, don't they?
Yeah. And you don't have to be a personality for somebody to get to know you and like you and trust you. It could be somebody who is working really hard and has got like 10 kids and everything else going on around them, but they're still coming on live looking bedraggled and going, do you know what, I've had a really hard day today, but it's not going to be like this forever. I've just done this and I've done this and done this and I'm reading this book and this is how I'm getting out of it. And if you want to join me on this journey, then click this link or follow or send me an emoji or whatever. Just get people engaged in what you're doing.
And on that, I didn't throughout. I forgot to say to people to share if they think they know other people that could find this useful. But if you're watching after the event, please do, and tag some friends in and show them if you think they're struggling, then please do, and hopefully Samantha can help and get her book. so Sam, go on. There you go. I was just going to thank you very much.
I was just literally going to say, as one last thing, I call it the network marketing revolution because I genuinely am trying to revolutionize the industry, and I can't do that on my own. It takes for every single person that I speak to realize that, and it explains this in the book, that sometimes what we're doing without realizing is harming the industry and the number of people that are entering and succeeding in it. So it's about finding ethical ways that are enjoyable, and you can earn easily, with ease and enjoyment. So when you start doing those things and people see that you're enjoying it, they're then going to want to join too and do that too. And they're going to tell somebody else. And suddenly we find that we're passing on a positive word instead of a negative one. And that's how a revolution starts, with lots of individuals, not just one person, but lots of individuals all doing the same thing. And we all need to act positively so that people then feel encouraged to join what we do and understand that it's not this thing that people say we are, that we do things differently. So
yeah, and I've just forgotten what I was going to say then. I got so engrossed in what you were just saying. But you've got a hashtag, haven't you? A hashtag NWM Revolution. So if we all do that, and we both find each other, so it's a case of I know what I was going to say. You kind of mentioned it, but that it's not a get rich quick. So the ones that are doing the spammy messages, they might be able to in the short term maybe get sort of force someone to buy or whatever and get a quick buck, and they'll be looking at us thinking, well, they're not doing anything, why is it taking, what's going on with them?
Yeah,
we will not have the last laugh because we don't want to be nasty to them. They've probably just been misled in the way that they're doing it, but it is a longer term thing. So like it's I've moved on to doing this video marketing and everything, and it hasn't meant that I've got thousands of people buying products and all that sort of thing straight away, but over time the sort of real estate of video will hopefully create like a following, and people get to know, like, and trust as well. So it's a longer term thing, and then it's a stronger relationship, isn't it, with the people that you're...
Exactly. And I will leave you with one last important point exactly around what you just said. People who use tactics use them for the short term and they don't last. When you use a strategy, it's for the long term and it's there forever. Those who bring people into the industry using tactics, their people will never hang around because they're relying on them also using tactics to get people in. If you're using a long-term strategy that you can just tweak whenever you need to, whenever your audience changes or the technology changes or whatever, you tweak it rather than having to find a new tactic, it's long-term. And when you look in towards long-term, the people then that you bring into your organization are going to be there for the long term.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
what is it you want?
Yeah, perfect. Right, so we've been on an hour now, Sam, so thanks so much. I'm not sure the very beginning actually works out, but I think we've covered everything in the last hour anyway. Yes. So that and that's thank you so much for all your time. I hope if anybody's watching this recorded, then please do message, and if there's anything else, and hopefully that link is still there. And perhaps Sam, we can do this again, in 6 months or something. See if anything else comes up that you're doing. Let us know that if you want to tell us about. We'll do another one. And it's been great. I think we've had some really positive responses. So thank you so much.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. Take care.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Bye.